Okay. Yeah, I guess I am live. I'm not really sure. I hope I am because otherwise I'm looking stupid right now. So yeah, wow. 2-0 victory for Manchester United against Manchester City. I mean, right now nobody is watching, but then eventually somebody will watch this. So to those people, you guys have no idea how tensed I was about this game. Simply because if we hadn't won today, then we would have been third on the table. And the last time that we were anywhere below second position was, if I'm not mistaken, probably in the last week of December or something like that. Because I remember we went. Actually, maybe even before that, maybe like third week of December or something, because I remember we beat Burnley to go top of the table before the Liverpool clash, and way before that we drew against Leicester, and then we beat a couple of other teams, and that was the time we went to the second position. So yeah, a massive, massive result. I mean, to be fair, right? I mean, I have to be honest when I say that people like Dean Henderson was really good. And in the very sort of, I don't mean in terms of like he did not make 10 saves today, but then he had that commanding presence that sometimes the higher lacks. But then this is not me saying that I want Dean Henderson to replace the higher permanently. Obviously not. There's a long way to go for that. But then for this game and for the last few games that he has been the goalkeeper, he has had these traits that are really important that perhaps the higher doesn't possess or doesn't do all that well. So that's a really positive sign. Uh, Luke Shaw, I'll talk about Luke Shaw probably after I talk about everybody else because that guy deserves a segment of this sort of review because that guy was absolutely mental and he has been playing absolutely mental for last I don't know so many games. And here is the thing, right? Okay, you know what? As I promised, I'll talk about him later. The backline was all right. There were obviously shaky moments. I mean, we were playing Manchester City today. It wasn't like we were playing some random Newcastle or somebody who don't really attack you. Even though as a United fan, I shouldn't probably say that. Like so, there was obviously going to be moments in this game where your defense was going to look shaky. But uh, today they looked shaky at various moments, but then they did not really look like they were going to crumble at any point of time. I have seen United versus Man City games a lot of times, even United versus Liverpool. Not necessarily Liverpool, but then I've seen games where it almost seems like there's going to be a period of time for about 10 to 15 minutes where the opposition is just attacking you on non-stop, and then the response that the defense gives is not really solid, which makes these attacks even more dangerous as they keep coming. And then eventually you come to a point where the only thing that's going to happen or is possible to happen is that something goes wrong and the defense makes a mistake because of all the pressure that they have been going through. So that type of thing did not necessarily happen today. There were few moments where City should have actually scored, but they didn't. But then we also scored 2 goals and we won this game 2-0. We did not win it by a fluke 1-0. We won it 2-0. So that's a big difference. McTominay and Fred were good again. I mean, to what their abilities are, I think they were very good, like they almost always are. Like that's the consistency that they provide. But then there's obviously the lack of creativity. But then there's no point moaning about it because that's literally the sort of thing that every United fan says after a Manchester United game because there is no real creativity from the midfield two that we play, especially when Pogba has been injured and the fact that we don't start Donny van de Beek. So there is that. Bruno Fernandes looked all right. The problem I guess he has in these type of games is that because United try to counter attack, they have like 30% possession. What happens is he doesn't get the spaces that he sort of operates perfectly in, and then whenever he has the ball, there's almost always a requirement for him to play the ball to one of the wingers pretty quickly, and or run with the ball himself. So what happens is, I don't think he gets to create chances like he might create against a Burnley or a Newcastle or somebody like that. And there's obviously also the point that the last few weeks Bruno has looked slightly lackluster. It's just a slight dip in form. I mean, the guy has, even to the date, I think he has like every goal or assist per 90 minutes or something. I may have to look that up, but I'm pretty sure the stat is almost close to that. And that's an extraordinary record for a guy who has played over a year at the club. So that's obviously brilliant. And he looked all right today, as I said. Dan James, I mean, I guess you can't really expect him to do a lot of things. And the things that he can do, he did them all right. Uh, Martial looked really good today. The problem for me is Martial has looked very good in quite a few games this season, and then there have been games he has been really average. But the biggest problem out of everything else is the fact that he hasn't scored a lot, and he has scored a very less amount of goals. And I don't know, like I want him to succeed, and I hope that he gets a few goals towards the end of the season because that would mean a lot uh, for Manchester United and the position that they are in various leagues and cup competitions. So that will be really useful. Rashford again looked pretty good, but then, again, because we are playing this type of a game, I'm not really sure how effective he can be. Of course, he can be devastating in a counter-attacking sort of sense, but then in the few occasions that he got the opportunities, there were almost always like three or four defenders on him, so he couldn't do anything with that sort of a situation. And I mean, that's I guess counter attack in a nutshell. Like you either get the situation or you don't. Like there's no middle ground in it. So yeah, all in all, I think Manchester United have done a brilliant job of getting the 3 points because that was absolutely essential. And we are now 22 games away unbeaten, which goes back to the last time we lost to Liverpool last year before Bruno's arrival. We lost like 2-0, I remember, at Anfield, obviously. So since then, we haven't lost an away game in the league. That's extraordinary, and that's the type of record that has to be appreciated more by the United fans. Because I feel like a lot of people, obviously in social media, there's a lot of negativity going around, and I feel like things like these. Suddenly, when I say stuff like what, we are 22 games unbeaten, there'll be people who come and talk about how we get a lot of penalties or how we do this, how we do that. Rivals can say whatever they want to, but the fact of the matter is we are 22 games away unbeaten. That's something that nobody can take away from us. And we should have a pride in this team that this team is doing a lot of things good. This is one of them. So there is that. Uh, but then, yeah, I mean, I have gone live here and I have no idea how this live thing works. I don't even know how I'm sounding currently. So yeah, this is kind of a weird thing for me. This is the first time thing for me. So I'm not really sure what will happen if I switch tabs here because I did want to look at the last few fixtures that Manchester United has had because in the league we have had some horrendous results, make no mistake. Uh, so yeah, obviously we drew Palace, Chelsea, nil all before this game in the league, and then we drew West Brom before that, and we drew Everton. Yo, oh boy, that was a shambolic result. That 3-3 against Everton was one of the sort of best and the worst moments I've had this year with Manchester United. Yes, the 9-0 result was obviously fantastic, but then, the way United played in that first half against Everton was just mind blowing. But the way they blew the game was also mind blowing. So there you go. Uh, and then we obviously drew Arsenal. So the problem is the last like 6, 7 games we have drawn like five, and we have won two. I'm Please bear with me. The numbers may not be exactly true in the league, but then those are the numbers. And from being about 2 points or 1 point behind Man City, we are currently what are we currently? We are currently 11 points behind Man City. with 10 games to go. I I do want to concede the league. I guess the league is done. I guess Man City are going to win the league. But for me personally, I have said this a million times in this channel already. My target was 76 points for Manchester United, and if they get more than that, brilliant. There was a time when I thought that they'll actually touch the 80 mark, which right now I don't believe in. But yeah, we are still 54 points from 28 games. And if we can get the 76-point mark, then that will definitely be improvement, and nobody can sort of, uh, you know, create any doubts about it or have any doubts about it, because we had 66 points last season. We get 76 this season would be an improvement. And the next step is of course to buy a couple of players. We need a CDM. We probably need a right winger sort of player. We obviously need a centre back. If these things or some of these things can be done, then obviously the next step is to get to the sort of early 80s to mid 80s sort of range, like 82, 83. Because once you get 82, 83, like, yeah, we know that the last few Premier League seasons have, the winner has been about 100, 97, these type of points. But then, if you're capable of getting 82, it means that you're capable of beating anybody on your day. Right now, I think United are capable of beating anybody on their day, right? Like we saw today. But then, to win the league, you just can't be that, but you also have to be something more. So it will be interesting to see how things work out in that sort of a sense. I have a very bad feeling that I'm not audible right now, which would suck so bad. So yeah. Anyways, I guess that's all for this team. I have to actually look at how I'm sounding, or I'll probably delete this. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye.